Right now, misinformation spreads faster than facts, especially on the most sensitive global stories. NVP uses uncensored AI analysis to verify the most controversial topics and separate signal from propaganda in real time. Instead of guessing who to trust, you can see structured verification and analysis behind every major issue. Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream, and thank you so much for tuning in to another show. Is Benjamin Netanyahu alive, or is the man dead? Is everything AI, or is it real? And he's concealing his location. What's happening exactly? Where is Itamar Ben-Gvir? Is that video that he published real? Why is Benjamin Netanyahu's son not posting on X, something that he usually never does? Usually the man posts, or the thing posts, like 30 to 40 times a day, and he hasn't been posting for 6 days now. What's the story? And in this live stream, we're going to go through everything to get to the bottom of it, as in get to the bottom of it completely, and try and establish if the man is dead or alive, or are the videos fake, which would indicate that he is either trying to, or Israel is trying to conceal the fact that he is dead, or he is trying to manipulate or deceive his enemies one way or another. In the previous video, I spoke to you about the statement that came from the IRGC. The IRGC said that whether he's dead or not, we're going to continue up until we kill him. That's what the IRGC said. There's no joking around now. It's a bone-breaking, liberating type war that we're in. It's nothing temporary. It's an all-out war. It's just that there are certain stages, and with each time, with each day, the stages start to get more complicated. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth type of thing. If you escalate here, we'll escalate there. But what's for sure is Iran is not looking for a ceasefire. They aren't interested in talking. The main mediator said they're not interested in talking. And they said that there's a punishment that needs to be served here against the United States and Israel. And they are targeting the leadership of Israel. It's undeniable now. They're targeting the hubs, the bases, the bunkers, their houses, every single thing. And of course, Israel has a lot of censorship, so we can't verify a lot of the attacks on the personal houses. But trust me, Iran has the addresses. Now, what is Benjamin Netanyahu doing with these recent videos? This was the recent video that he published today. Him walking in a cafe, asking him if he's dead. Say, yeah, I die for coffee, you want to count my fingers? Here are my fingers. The other hand, he's showing his hand. He's sipping a coffee. He is talking, asking people to kind of take a break, take a breath of fresh air, but to be safe at the same time. They're standing with the country is amazing. That they're doing things that he can't share with them. They're hitting Iran. They're doing this and that, explaining all of that, right? But more importantly, there are certain things that happened in this video that are raising suspicions, and we need to get to the bottom of what's real and what's not. I mean, that was one of the moves that was raising suspicions. Have a look at his hand here. Some people said because this popped out like this, that is AI generated. All right, that was one of the things, okay? And we're going to get to the full analysis of it. But beforehand, let's clarify about the previous video. The previous video was more important because that's the video that actually started this whole thing. That was Benjamin Netanyahu in the statement that he had recorded clearly a couple of days ago, where it was broadcasted live. But again, you can have a recording and broadcast it live later on. And it was on his channel, of course. There was a translation of part of it in English. That was the main video that people started to, talk about. And, lots of things happened and what have you. They were talking about the hands, right? Let's have a look at the hand here, okay? Because we need to analyze everything. He has 5 fingers here. Now, what happened, by the way, some people actually artificially generated a hand with 5 fingers, but some of them actually viewed another part of this video when he would later on raise his right arm rather than his left arm, and you would see a crease at the bottom of his hand, and some people said that that's actually one of these parts here, right? And they said that that was a 6th finger, when really and truly it was a crease on his hand, okay? Another thing that people were mentioning is his teeth, right? His teeth, look at his teeth. So all of a sudden you see all of his teeth showing up, and then you don't see some of the teeth showing up. Well, firstly, his teeth are not fully straight, Benjamin Netanyahu. And when you're moving your tongue, right, you can have shadow based on the lighting, and it would cover part of the teeth, okay? Now, I'm not saying that makes this video genuine, because even AI can be really accurate. And again, we don't have all access to all of the AI video generation these people have. And they might have things that are more advanced than what we have, undeniably. Now, one thing that I actually found in this video that not many others spoke about came later when, you know, that's in the Hebrew version, by the way, in the non-English version, the original one, when he was being asked questions by the reporters, and he was answering these questions. I found this strange. And again, that might be just my observation. It could be, again, something to do with the lighting or the makeup. But if you notice here, Netanyahu, when he was moving it, so look at his chin. So either he's clenching his teeth, Can you see that movement over there? If we kind of slow it down slightly, playback speed, right? And play. Can you see that movement? It's either he's clenching his teeth and having something popping up here, or again, that could be something to do with an AI. But I mean, I'm not sure if you clench your teeth if you have like a bulge here. All right. I mean, I have a beard now. It's covering everything. You can't see. Netanyahu doesn't. So, I mean, these were things that raised my eyebrows, you know, about this video, and my opinion on the thing that some people claimed was the 6th finger, which was really not substantiated. And some people, of course, they actually published fake images of him having 6th finger just to get likes and follows and what have you. And we're not interested in that. We're interested in really analyzing, because trust me, if Netanyahu is dead, I'd probably be the first person to tell you. I mean, we've been monitoring this thing all along, and if Netanyahu's killed and we have a verified source, right, you will know. I will be letting you know. But there's a lot of hype, and I get the reasoning behind the hype, because some of the things that are happening are abnormal, and I will get to why too, because there are reasons on why some of the leading figures who are targeted, and then Iran said we want to kill him, and he has been facing assassination attempts. Hezbollah's drone went into his bedroom's house. This man is paranoid. He doesn't move without the authorization of his head of security. Okay, so all of these things are important, and we will get to that later on, why they actually don't publish videos, and why that could be another reason on why he's actually absent. Okay, let's go to the recent video. The recent video, some people spoke about several things here. They spoke about Benjamin Netanyahu, firstly, taking the cup. Have a look at the cup. And again, if you have coffee regularly, you know that frothed milk isn't like liquid, right? You can move the cup without the froth falling down. But some people said when they saw the cup moving and he did this, the milk, the coffee didn't spill. And they said that that's not normal. Again, to me, that wasn't really convincing, because if that cup has frothed milk, is having, I don't know, a flat white or a cappuccino or whatever, the froth can float. It doesn't make sense for it to drop if you have coffee, if you're a coffee fan. Apart from that, they mentioned something. Well, of course, he's showing his hands here. And then when he puts his left hand now, after he drinks, okay, some people also said about Netanyahu having a sip, look, and he has a bit of the coffee on his lip. And they said all of a sudden afterwards, he doesn't have it. There's a cut. There's a video cut. They didn't want to show him doing this in the middle of a video. So again, that's not a reason, okay? Then we continue to the next move, which is when he's going to put his hand in his pocket, right? Continuously talking. He's going to, in 1, 2, 3, or I'm thinking it's now. Otherwise, it could have been slightly before. It could have been before. We'll rewind slightly if it was before rather than now. This move. See this move here when he was putting it in. And some people said because this actually didn't go in, or because it actually went in and then it popped out, then that means it's AI. But again, you know, that to me, again, as an observer, and again, that I'm not saying that it's 100% genuine. I'm not claiming anything here. I'm just talking about the statements that are coming about the fact that some of these videos are AI generated. And again, they could be AI and they could be very accurate. So not very convincing again. And some people are reading through it a lot. Others said, well, look, there is this thing here to do with the time, right? The time of the release and what have you. And I think one of them actually print screened it to show the exact time that it was published in. And the time was apparently slightly later than when Netanyahu actually published the video. And there could be something behind that, although the date was accurate. It was actually the 15th of March. But with timing, there could be something to do with the cashier. Maybe it wasn't updated or what have you. But what's for sure is that that company that he actually used in that cashier is an Israeli company, Shop for All, it's called, and it's based in the city of Haifa. That company is there, and they have IT services for cashiers. Again, you kind of need to zoom in here to see the clear picture. Is there a zoom in here? No, there's no zoom in. Okay. Then there were some people who spoke about the mask, said, oh, it was actually COVID times when people were wearing masks. But again, some of the Netanyahu crew or security people, they wear masks. All right. So is it all fake or is it all real, or are people hyping? And again, some people are posting things that are not really substantiated. Really and truly, the fact that Netanyahu is posting a video like this, which is a clearly set up video. So they practiced everything and they chose a specific place. It's indoors. They might have done a couple of things to conceal the location, or they've done a couple of things deliberately to deceive people to do with the name, to make them think that it's one place and rather or not another place. The fact that he's doing all of that shows that the man is very worried. And if you saw the previous video too, the one where he had the statement about the war and the so-called achievements, you can see that he was very nervous in this video. He was very nervous, he was very anxious, and he couldn't hide anything about his feelings. Assuming it's real and assuming it's not AI. Because I'm not saying that it's real and I'm not saying that it's AI. I'm just looking and just outright sharing my thoughts with you rather than making judgments here. Because some people are saying he's dead. Okay, some people are saying he's dead, he's gone. clearly anxious. This one was definitely in somewhere, a bunker, most likely. Then the other one was in what appears to be an open cafe inside of Israel. And Netanyahu was clearly moving inside of the cafe in this location. Why would he not, by the way, publish videos? And all of this says a lot, by the way, because the Iranian leaders are between their people, moving around freely between their people in the streets, when this man is petrified of moving in the Israeli streets because he knows that people hate him, hate the living daylight out of him. They don't do that because there is technology at the end of the day nowadays to analyze the video recording, the location, compare it to GPS maps, have a very quick analysis on everything to do with the video, with what happened in the video, the statements, the time, the publishing, all of these things to try and track where it was taken so that they can get an understanding on the chain of events so that they would know that Netanyahu was in that location or in another location. Okay, that is very important because, well, it's not only Israel that has this technology, it's Iran that has this technology. Iran has the technology to find and look at certain things, and from that, to know that, well, what's the case here? Other people are saying, well, listen, does he look like the same man to you? Netanyahu on the left and Netanyahu on the right. What happened? That another thing here, from my observation, because we've been talking about him for the past couple of years. He has lost weight with time due to his illnesses and his ill health. Again, assuming the video is real, because again, I'm not claiming it is real. Everything could be AI, everything could be fake. Because if he is dead and they're trying to conceal it, by the way, they are in really deep trouble. They're in really deep trouble because the situation isn't going to be looking great for them. Add to that Iran is very keen on killing the man. If Iran is very keen on killing Benjamin Netanyahu, he is going to have to take more measures to protect himself. But one of the more interesting things that happened, by the way, is with his son and with none other than Itamar Ben-Gvir. Let's begin with Itamar Ben-Gvir and then go to Yair Netanyahu. Itamar Ben-Gvir usually posts a lot of videos, usually about anything bigoted to do with hating Arabs and Muslims and, you know, killing people and whatever, executing people. He recently released a video which he could have deleted it now. When was it? Let's have a look. Here we go. That's the video. He released a video trying to debunk the claims that he is dead. And it was a little bit weird. It was a little bit strange, to be honest with you, because this is how they began, you know? Iranians saying that you're dead, and there are a lot of cuts and edits in this video. When usually he'll have his face talking to the camera and he will be spewing whatever it is he wants to spew from his mouth and talk. But look at the whole video.
אני רואה שהאיראנים אומרים שאתה מת. כל האיראנים שהפיצו את הפייק שאני מת.
So whenever he comes up to the video, there's an immediate cut, so that there isn't time to kind of look at him and...
إتمار بن كفير وزير الأمن القومي الإسرائيلي أمس بأحد.
התפוצצו. אני חי בבקשה.
Will kill them.
To the Iranians that say that I'm dead, you know, go F yourself in a sense, or bomb yourselves. I'm alive. a lot of cuts, a lot of edits. That also raised alarm bells, and continued activity following that on his account could be managed by someone at the end of the day, not necessarily him. And don't forget that there were multiple cases. Firstly, if you recall in the beginning, when there was a large number of emergency vehicles in Jerusalem on a scene that didn't require a lot of emergency services. So I'm talking about like probably 70 emergency vehicles next to one car that was hit in Jerusalem, in occupied Jerusalem. Many people suspected that this could be a leading figure that was targeted there. Again, Israel didn't confirm anything. Then when there was this funeral in the Beit Shemesh area that Israel actually confirmed happened, there was a suspicious movement. Again, some people said it was Netanyahu. No verification of that. But let's share the video because it was also, something was fishy. If we look at this video here, this was one of the popular videos. This was one of the videos that was taken by one person afterwards, not officially. And it got leaked. We see an intense movement of the Israeli emergency services and army and the rescue services. And if we look, the security services or the soldiers, they're making sure that no one comes close to this scene. They're trying to kind of move people away as much as possible. And there's a lot of sense of urgency here, particularly with that body. Now, why I find that bizarre slightly is because during that day, there were multiple bodies, and there were several other images of multiple body bags being moved together. But this one here, they seem to be much more alert, much more people surrounding it. It's not just the rescue services, but also the emergency services, the security forces, and the Israeli army as well. That also led some people to say that this could be Benjamin Netanyahu in that location, or another senior figure inside of Israel. And from an Israeli perspective, well, that hasn't really, they did not confirm at all. And that still doesn't really give us proof that this was Benjamin Netanyahu. And the biggest suspicion now was none other than the son of Benjamin Netanyahu, Yair Netanyahu. Yair Netanyahu is an online troll. He constantly trolls and posts and reposts things on X and other platforms too. You know, the man who dodges the war when Americans go to die and when Israelis go to die. That's his X feed. Okay, let's have a look at his X feed. This guy pinned tweet or post with him and Trump dated July the 9th, 2025. This is the last post, 8th of March. On the 8th of March, he had many other posts, as in, you can see the man is posting daily, the thing, daily. Look at how many posts. That's every single day. He spends his life there, whether he's in Miami or anywhere else. That whole line that I'm just showing you now, all of that is on the 8th of March. Look at how much he posts. 8th of March, 8th of March, 8th of March. Now we got to 7. Things against Tucker Carlson, things against anyone who kind of quoting, open source intel, one of these Zionist accounts pretending to be an intelligence source and what have you, other Zionist garbage, and typical, the son of Netanyahu. What are you expecting from him? The fact that he was posting so much and he actually stopped posting following the 8th of March Well, that is making people question everything. Why is he not posting? What was that? Itamar Ben Gvir? Was this Netanyahu? And was this the funeral of someone senior? And was the other guy in the video Benjamin Netanyahu? What was the whole thing exactly? And are we talking about Israel trying to hide something here and conceal it from the people? Or are people over-analyzing because they simply are interested in Benjamin Netanyahu dying? Or they are just thinking that, well, something must be wrong with this whole narrative and we're not being told the truth? Or some of them are being misled by the misinformation that is being posted. So all of these things are important questions. So truth of the matter is, none of it can confirm his death. None of those videos can confirm his death. They can make people suspect that he is resorting to artificially generated videos, in their opinion, again, because my opinion might be slightly different from what I saw, because, some of the things that were in these videos can be normal. And mind you, some of them are less high quality than others, which makes it slightly more problematic. But that doesn't take away the chance of something happening to him. And he is paranoid. He is very paranoid. That is on all of the front to do with Netanyahu's death, because there's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of analysis. There's a lot of people confirming. There's a lot of people saying it's all nonsense. Truth of the matter is, we're not sure, but we're sure that Iran does want to kill him. We're sure he's petrified. We're sure they are going the extra mile to try and protect themselves. And that part of the reason why they're appearing less is to conceal as much information as possible, because any data that is leaked is, at the end of the day, a digital footprint. The recording, analysis, waves, internet connection, where it was launched, all of that can be tracked, and Netanyahu doesn't want to be in that position. Now, it wasn't only Netanyahu who spoke today. The IDF spokesperson spoke today too. He made Israeli people. He was telling them about huge accomplishments taking place in Lebanon and in, Iran. And, we're winning really badly, but he said something very interesting. Of course, repeating the Zionist nonsense about, we targeted 90% of Iran's capability to do with missiles, their missile factories, and some of the parts where they are connected with the nuclear program and all of that. And from what we saw, really, nothing harmed Iran's capability to continue and conduct attacks against Israel. And Israel, of course, would want to boast as much as possible. One of the most important things that he said was the fact that we are not looking for a regime change in Iran. Can you imagine that? The IDF spokesperson said, we're not necessarily looking for a regime change in Iran. You've been telling us about a regime change all of this time. What happened? Oh no, it's about the Iranian people. We want to create the conditions for them. I'll go and destroy and kill thousands of people and kill school children, bomb hospitals and what have you. And, you take ownership I'm doing that for you. Like they destroyed and leveled Gaza for the Gazans, for the people, to liberate them from Hamas, right? When they posting all of these ads, how much did they pay for ads to be plastered online? Free Gaza from Hamas, right? So there they want to free Iran, but they don't really mean to take down the establishment. What is that telling us? you said it's the regime, and it's the regime and hub of source of all of the problems, and we need to get rid of the head of the snake. And it was your objective in 2020. You spoke about it all along. Your mouthpieces and hawks in the Trump administration constantly talk about a regime, but they also change their mind, kind of, like Lindsey Graham, who said that we don't really have a problem if it's an Ayatollah or not an Ayatollah. All of that proves, yet again, that these people don't know what on earth is happening and what the hell they're doing. These people lost the plot. Iran is controlling the tempo. It is surgically defeating them bit by bit up until they reach their objectives. And it wasn't only him who was frustrated, by the way. There was another guy who was really frustrated too. It was none other than Pete Hegseth. And Pete Hegseth, it was quite embarrassing with Pete Hegseth. It was quite awkward, to be fair, but I think these people are getting used to this awkwardness. Listen to him in a recent press conference and how he spoke with supposedly the mouthpieces of the Trump-Epstein regime. Listen to this.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
You know what's wrong with the press? Do you know how it feels to go on a 36-hour plane? No, you don't. It's your Fox News. How about you give these people some credit? They just went and bombed school children in Iran. 170 of them. Can we get a round of applause? What's wrong with you? Is he is he a lunatic? What is this guy? They lost the plot, and he's speaking about Fox News too. Fox News, right? The American mainstream media, they're upset with their mouthpieces. I mean, you can just imagine where things are going after this. You know, where are things headed to, and where are these people in exactly? Okay. That's on that side of things. So he's not happy with the fact that people are criticizing him. People are criticizing this whole operation. Or really, well, did you ask? Did you consult the American people? I mean, did you go through Congress? Was it constitutional? Is there any international law involvement in any of this? Did you convince the American people? No one was really convinced that this was necessary for the United States. No one was convinced that Iran was posing a threat. Iran was talking to them. Iran was willing to reach a deal with them. It could have been probably a better deal than the previous one, perhaps. And they still went on and attacked Iran in the middle of negotiations by the, of course, false messengers, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, typically. And we are where we are. So why are they surprised? Are they that delusional? Okay. That is from their end. From Iran's end, the people are in the streets day and night, supporting their government, their country, resisting this aggression against them, supporting and asking for an increased response. No one wants a ceasefire. Shared with you the previous video, people who were saying that we're not interested in a ceasefire, and they're not really looking to have any talks whatsoever. And by the way, that has been confirmed. That has been confirmed now, because now more reports are coming talking about the Iranian side refusing any sort of talks coming with the United States of America. Why are they refusing? Because they're fighting the battle to expel the United States from the region, and they haven't even started yet. They said that all of what we use so far isn't the most advanced level. The resistance still hasn't shown its big cards. The international situation goes in their favor. At the end of the day, you know, NATO's engaged with Ukraine, and Donald Trump can't have any allies, to a level where he was ridiculous enough to go and ask China to go and help him, right? Total confusion. Now, a couple of things happen, of course, following the previous video that I posted for you. The first thing is that there was a statement that came from the spokesperson of the Khatam al-Anbiya HQ, said that the logistical and service centers of the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group in the Red Sea are considered targets by the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Yanbu port in Saudi Arabia is the logistical support center for U.S. Navy warships such as USS Ford. What is that going to do? We're talking about this location over here. What does that mean? That means that the attacks that Iran is conducting are, well, they're saying that they're using it, USS Gerald Ford. They haven't said anything else, but we, of course, understand very well what they mean by that. That means we're going to target them next. Either they are just preparing the United States to be attacked in that location, or potentially trying to use that as leverage, telling the US, in essence, if you expand even further, then the Red Sea is going to be blocked. You see, Yemen hasn't participated yet. Ansarullah haven't participated yet. And that is a calculation. That is firstly a Yemeni calculation, because each front has its own calculations at the end of the day, and they work independently based on the developments. However, there's definitely coordination. For example, in the 12-day war, Hezbollah did not participate with Iran. There was no necessity. And Iran did a perfect job during the 12-day war. They hammered Israel really hard. And now it's more of an open front, bone-breaking, bone-crushing war. It's moving from a phase of, well, it depends on how you're going to use the terms, from full war to all-out war, or the bigger war, or it's escalating. That's what's happening. And the next phase is Bab al-Mandeb. Bab al-Mandeb is going to be a strategic disaster if it gets shut simultaneously with the Hormuz Strait. You saw the genocide coalition, aka United States and the United Kingdom, when they went against Yemen for imposing a perfectly legal embargo on a perfectly illegal entity committing war crimes, led by a war criminal conducting a genocide in Gaza. What happened? They went out with their tails between their legs after Ansarullah hammered 4 of the aircraft carriers that were there. And Donald Trump, even after striking Yemen, had to reach a deal with them. In his initial talks, he was saying, listen, I want to get a deal with you, but that deal is you need to stop attacking Israel. Otherwise, there's no deal. They told him you can forget about it. He continued to attack. He had to reach a deal, despite Israel not wanting him to. Israel lobbied really hard for him to keep that coalition. And they started to have these very long and risky attacks against Yemen, 2,000 kilometers. Very costly, very time-consuming. And they kept it open up until this so-called ceasefire took effect. But then again, that happened between them and the Palestinian resistance because they were coordinating between them. And there was that agreement. However, Yemen also said that any attack on any other Arab and Muslim country that resists Israel and the US presence here, we are part of it. We consider ourselves to be part of it, and we're willing to support, so long as they have a clear vision in their resistance. Iran, well, Iran is the main country of resistance. And why are they not in yet? They're not in yet because of various carefully put together plans and calculations to do with the progress of the war, with the leverage, with taking it step by step, and with using the right time to start conducting these attacks. And mind you, when Iran said they're using it, what is the response here? Or what is the message? The message is that we're going to attack, not Ansarullah in Yemen. We're talking about only Iran, but they're hinting that there is something more to do. Saudi Arabia gets the message too. Why? Because Saudi Arabia has been a country that has been attacked heavily by Ansarullah in Yemen following their criminal aggression in Yemen, with the support of the United States and with the support of Western establishments who were supporting the slaughtering and starvation of the people of Yemen, only because it was Saudi Arabia doing it and they're allied with Saudi Arabia. Typical double standards and hypocrisy. And they know that that's going to be very risky for them. Yemen is in their face. So if they have an escalation with them, that's going to lift a lot of the pressure off Iran. Yemen can start targeting the bases. And they'll burn all of the oil fields, by the way. That's what's going to happen. Therefore, these notions that are coming from some of these countries who are trying to hide and conceal the fact that they are being used as hubs for launching attacks against Iran is being exposed here. First, we have evidence to expose it. There are movements on the ground, other satellite and verification to prove that they have operating activities inside of them. Some of them even said it accidentally. The attacks that the United States had against civilian infrastructure inside of Iran were carried out from bases inside of Arab countries too. Yet some of the Arab countries are saying that, oh, it's an aggression against our countries. To, of course, hide the fact that they are being used to attack a neighboring country, to conduct acts of barbaric terrorism in another country and kill school children, slaughter them. So from Iran's perspective, there is no way. They have to be wiped off this whole area. Get the hell out of here. Take your bases and your decrepit terrorists out of here and don't come back. Next in line, of course, the entity as well, the colony, the apartheid state. That is the position of Iran. And some of the Arab states are beginning to realize it, but they haven't realized it to the fullest context. They are trying to give the Iranians and the whole world a vision of, oh, well, we are actually trying to, reach a solution here. We're trying to stop the escalation. We want peace in the region. That's not going to happen because people are seeing the escalations that are happening and they are seeing the crimes that are being conducted from the American bases in those regions. And they're telling them that we have more to do should you choose the path of escalation. And then these countries, if they do want to allow the United States to conduct more attacks and not actually tell them just stop it right now and get out of here, they will be paying a heavier price. And that price is going to be in the form of infrastructure and economy of these countries. We're no longer going to talk about just American assets, because they are knowingly now allowing that to happen. Again, whether they have a say or they don't have a say, because it's not like the United States administration cares. The United States administration doesn't care. This is how they treat Spain. This is how they treat all other countries. Apart from that, the attacks against the genocide state are continuing heavily, both from Iran and from Hezbollah. The attacks of the Islamic resistance in Iraq are continuing against the Victoria base as well. This was one of the recent attacks of an Iranian missile on a US base inside of the UAE. And this is what happened in that attack.
Do lunch. Itu namun. Doing different as.
Serious attack coming from Iran, and there were multiple statements today coming from officials inside of Iran. One of them was the governor of Tehran, Mohammad Sadiq Mu'tamidyan, who said that the security situation in Iran is good due to the level of capabilities of the security forces. The people stand next to the armed forces to ensure safety and security in the capital, Tehran. The enemies have no option but they don't have a history of wars apart from wars with barbarism. We are ready for a long-term war. We don't have a problem of loss in fuel or oil inside Iran. And in Israel, they're confirming at the same time that they are not moving forward. The Israeli Broadcasting Authority today said, so apart from the statement that I shared with you about the IDF spokesperson before, the Israeli Khan Broadcasting Authority said today that we are not actually progressing at the same pace that we want to progress in. And they're facing that with significant attacks coming from the Lebanese resistance. The Lebanese resistance had several operations today, during which they targeted the following locations. They targeted the Palmachim Air Base in Tel Aviv, the Rafael military complex. They targeted Nahariya city with a missile salvo, Kiryat Shmoni with a missile salvo, Avivim settlement with a missile salvo. They had clashes. They targeted the Meroon front in the occupied Golan Heights, the Meroon air surveillance base, again targeting it with drones. And in the evening, they targeted with a missile salvo. They targeted the Tznubar logistics and Kila barracks. They targeted Israeli positions in the Avivim barracks too. In the Kfar Yuval area, they targeted an enemy gathering there with a missile salvo. Taiba project, armor and vehicle targets they had there, the destruction of a Merkava tank with a guided missile. They targeted a D9 military bulldozer. They targeted a gathering with a missile salvo. They had other battles in Khiyam city. They destroyed another Merkava tank in Al Khiyam. They had the confrontation in Al Adaysa town. They targeted a vehicle gathering in Khilat Al Aqsa with a swarm of dive drones. They targeted a soldier gathering in Khilat Al Muhayfra, I believe it's called, with a large missile salvo. And Mais Al Jabal, they targeted another attack there. They had another attack with an artillery shell. That was only from Lebanon. That was only in the past 24 hours. And that was what they said so far about these attacks coming from their end against the Zionist forces. So we're talking about full operation capacity coming from Lebanon, despite the fact that people were casting doubt on Hezbollah's capability, the leadership of Sheikh Naim Qasim. Some people were saying, oh man, that man is too soft, he wouldn't be able to, and now they're actually showing them what they are capable of. And they published a few videos of their operations today. One of them was with some of their fighters targeting Israel with several drones from Lebanon, and they withdrew successfully after launching these drones. Again, full convenience, really, no one's bothering them there, and these drones reach their targets safely. Then they withdrew after this operation. They had this whole video, several minutes worth, and then they withdrew from the location. They published a couple of other videos that I shared with you before. And that is what they're doing. That is what Hezbollah is doing. This is the video that I shared with you before, by the way, of them targeting a location that the Israelis were in successfully, again, in Lebanon with a guided missile. They were monitoring the movements. Of course, you can see the people there. So we're talking about intelligence gathering, monitoring, freedom of movement, freedom of operation, all of that following 1 year, more than 1 year, of no operations whatsoever, totally adhering to the ceasefire, despite thousands of Israeli breaches, despite pressure from the US puppets in Lebanon. Despite giving them an option to reach diplomatic solutions, nothing happened. They still gave them an option to a level where some of the American side started to get bored of this whole situation. And now they're proving to everyone that they have the capacity, they have the capability, and they are going full throttle against Israel, clearly in a way that they were prepared for. Firstly, they were prepared for this heavily, and in a way that is really surprising Israel. There were also more videos being published from Israel following some of the missile attacks coming from Iran and the Lebanese. A lot of the videos that are coming now from Israel, it's very hard to find videos nowadays, especially after the humiliation of Israel's air defenses several days back, with the videos that I posted to you of some missiles completely gliding through without any interception whatsoever, and some of them even with attempts of interception coming from the Israeli air defense systems, but going through without any problem whatsoever. I mean, that was that was a catastrophe for Israel. You know, videos such as this one, you'll see a hypersonic missile passing through everything, and bang, explosion. That was one of the heavy warheads, by the way, just under a ton, perhaps. Not the heaviest though. But you see, after these videos, they start kind of taking a step back, not wanting to share anything, and threatening people from sharing anything on the ground. And in Iran, there are more and more indications now. This was actually one of the other videos that I probably haven't shared with you, of a recent operation of the Lebanese resistance. Let me share that video with you. It's based on an operation they conducted against the Bar-Lev industrial location that deals with the military industrial complex several days back. Have a look at this. So as you can see, and then you saw the landings, by the way, some of these attacks, conveniently, Hezbollah is conveniently doing that and targeting Israel so heavily that in Israel, that's why they're saying that now, we really are not going and proceeding at the same level that we thought we would be. Now, there are a couple of moves happening from Iran that also give us a bit of a taste on what's coming, a bit of an idea, a better idea. I've been telling you that from what we're seeing so far, it doesn't look like this operation is enough for Iran, again, despite a lot of destruction in Israel. I mean, let me give you an example. Like, this was one video that was leaked from Israel, okay? Look at the level of destruction here. Look at this. So they're moving, because see this site? There was a building here that disappeared, but completely vanished. And you can see the destruction from the buildings surrounding it, by the way. What Israel does, in essence, of course, if this guy was found, he'll probably be imprisoned, because he would be considered as, giving the enemy knowledge of the sites or whatever. But again, many people don't get caught, because these things get published in on multiple platforms and groups, and then they get leaked and copied and what have you. It's difficult to trace these things. That's why some people want to show the level of damage here, and Israel immediately conceals the place to try and make it look like a construction site. We'll remove the whole building so that people don't see a destroyed building. We don't want to look like Gaza, God forbid. We don't want to look like the people who we bombed. That it would be too much of a karma type of thing. It's not nice. We don't want to feel bad about ourselves. And Iran is giving hints, and these hints have been displayed in the Wali Asr Square in Tehran, where they posted a recent banner, right? A very large banner that, according to a post that I saw, said, let me tell you exactly what it said: until the world finds rest, right? So this is one of their most important squares in Iran, the Wali Asr, and they always have like important statements there to support the Palestinian resistance and what have you. So this was a recent poster that they had there, a huge poster: Iranian missiles, Palestinian resistance slogans there, until the world finds rest. What do they mean by until the world finds rest? What do you think Iran means by until the world finds rest? You can share your thoughts, of course, in the comment section, but we clearly see what they're intending here. And the intention is, well, some people caused a lot of problems for a very long time. I mean, their hands are full of blood. They've been killing innocent people, supporting a genocide and brutality, intervention, coups, supporting dictatorship and terrorism all across the world, and deflecting and blaming everything, the blame shifting. It's the United States that has been supporting terrorism all across the world. The United States and its allies supporting brutal dictatorship, neo-colonialist apartheid, coups, who actually bring cartels to actually bring drugs to the United States to make epidemics and pretend like they are fighting them at the same time. This whole thing is upside down. But that's what they do, to deflect, try and portray themselves as if they are the liberators. And now the thing is, they're trying to play that role with Iran at a really, really bad time. And that time is when they're just still supporting genocide. They are still arming. It's clearly for the sake of Israel. America, I mean, you can argue that they do have economic interests there. There is leverage, to be had with China, maybe in the global scene, what have you, and economic roots. We get that argument, absolutely. But based on the outcome, I mean, you can clearly see it wasn't really in American interest to do this now, in this way, in this rushed manner, even before midterms, because Israel's worried that Trump is going to start losing some of his popularity, some of his base in the United States of America. It's going to be very problematic for them. So Iran, therefore, is continuing this. They clearly have a plan. There are no plans to clearly stop any of the escalation that's happening now. But that's one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Israel is saying something, and again, saying something. Let's kind of try and understand how much sense that actually makes. Firstly, they're saying this move happened just over a year ago. Israel's maximum reservist number now is between like 180 to 200,000, less than 200,000. Back in the 30th of May, 2025, they raised the reservist call-up cap to 450,000, almost 500,000. They got a lot of criticism at the time, and many people said, well, how are we going to do that? We don't have enough people who, well, are in the army, who want to serve. The Orthodox community, they don't want to, they've been having protests against Israel as a country and Zionism and what have you. Now they're actually calling. Now they're calling there are calls that Israel will potentially call up to 450,000 reservists. Now, why? It's because, well, then at the time, they knew how problematic their situation was anyway. It was a big problem for them. And at the time, they knew their future plans. The expansion of Israel, the Greater Israel Project, the fact that they want to have the capacity to go on wars without necessarily relying on additional participation. And Lebanon, of course, and the region, Benjamin Netanyahu feels very strongly about the Greater Israel Project. Mike Huckabee, the American ambassador to Israel, the same America that the Arab states are allowing to attack Iran now, said that he doesn't mind. It's perfectly fine if Israel occupies all Arab states. Despite all of that, look at the level of humiliation, by the way, with some of these leaders. They allow them to continue. And Israel is planning for something big, but primarily for Lebanon. Now the biggest problem is Lebanon. They're still not done with Gaza. The Palestinian resistance is there. They're targeting police forces, brutally killing them, killing families in the West Bank, running over a girl aged 5 years and blaming it on the Palestinians. It's just a brutal reality. Armed thugs, armed barbaric Zionist settlers who get funded and supported by the government and armed by the government go and brutalize Palestinians, beat them, shoot them, kill them. They terrorize people every single day with the support, of course, of the enlightened Western establishments. Because, if you criticize them, then you can't. It's not nice. They'll be offended. And they're planning to expand that to Lebanon because they know that 3 divisions in Lebanon is not enough. They already deployed 3 divisions before. They had all of their divisions in Gaza at one point. So over 170,000 were in Gaza at one point. And didn't take Hamas down, didn't take the Palestinian resistance down. 3 divisions in Lebanon, they didn't even cross several hundred meters into Lebanese territories because the geography in Lebanon really helps the Lebanese resistance. And they are embedded in that geography, in these mountainous areas, and it becomes much more problematic for Israel. Whereas in Gaza, it was much, much harder. And to be honest with you, that shows how capable the Palestinian resistance was in such unfriendly, right, geographical situations, a flat sand area, right? In Lebanon, it's mountains. It's the geography is with you. You know it. Your enemy doesn't. You know every corner, every stone. Your enemy doesn't. And that is working to their favor. That's why they were able to expel Israel as soon as they go in. That's why you're hearing a lot today about the Al-Khiyam area in Lebanon. They're trying, and another tank, and this and that. On the spot, they get targeted, they get attacked. whether it's direct combat, whether it's guided missiles, whether it's anti-tank missiles, whatever it is. But the fact that they're calling for additional reservists now shows that they are planning for something big. But the question is, who are they going to bring? You see, if the current reservists and the current numbers aren't doing it, then who are you going to call? Are you going to call the people who weren't trained for 10 years or 20 years, who have been sitting on their rump, doing nothing, expecting them to go and participate in combat with fearless people who are defending their land and resisting you, child-killing murderers? It's going to be a disaster for them. But again, he needs cannon fodder. He needs cannon fodder. He needs meat for the meat grinder. And he might as well, from his perspective. Netanyahu, he still has a base. Some people are still interested, still have that conviction. Although that number is very, very difficult to achieve. It's, I mean, it could be a very exaggerated number from their perspective too, to try and show the other side that look at how much we're deploying, by the way. But what's for sure is the fact that they are saying it, they're taking it seriously, proves that they have plans and they will continue to expand. The sooner their neighbors realize that, and some of them are, of course, acting like obedient guardian dogs to Israel. The sooner they realize that they're next, the merrier, because these people aren't deployed for or aren't called for no reason. They're looking for a big project. They have that in their head. And if they get their way, then they will continue. But so far, it's not going their way. As a matter of fact, it's going the complete opposite way. And we're seeing the upper hand of both Iran and the resistance against both them and the Epstein regime. And these were the main things that I want to share with you in this live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who sent supers. Thank you to all of the viewers, of course, everyone who participated in the chat. We'll be with you with more videos, of course, and live streams in the coming perhaps hours or days, you know. So stay tuned, stay blessed, take care, and I will see you soon in the next video. Peace, everyone. Salam. Right now, misinformation spreads faster than facts, especially on the most sensitive global stories. NVP uses uncensored AI analysis to verify the most controversial topics and separate signal from propaganda in real time. Instead of guessing who to trust, you can see structured verification and analysis behind every major issue.